Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, Language and Life Skills. I am Matthew Antagalan. Today our topic is Beyond IQ and EQ to SQ. Beyond IQ and EQ to SQ, that is Spiritual Quotient. Well, you know very well in the last century, in the 40s and 50s, the most important thing in schools was IQ, Intelligence Quotient. Everybody was tested on this IQ, and the schools wanted students with the best IQ, and companies employed people who were having high IQ. But then they found a problem. People with high IQ were not able to be really successful in business. For example, insurance agents, when they found clients who would be resisting, they did not know what to do. They were discouraged. It also was found that CEOs were poor in their family life. They did not know how to manage their family life. Some of them also had suicidal tendencies. Then the focus changed from IQ to what you call EQ, or emotional quotient. Before that, people began to speak of different kinds of intelligences, not just one academic intelligence called IQ. There came about the theory of multiple intelligences. Intelligence of various types, 9 of them, like logical, mathematical, verbal, spatial, musical, kinesthetic, emotional, interpersonal, etc. So now the thing became EQ or emotional quotient. That is, knowing how to deal with people. One who started this was Daniel Coleman in 1995. And what do you mean by EQ? Many of you are familiar with EQ today. EQ, emotional quotient or emotional intelligence. It helps you to understand your own emotions, process them. And after that, you are able to understand others and their emotions and manage those emotions. Today, we stress this EQ, emotional quotient or emotional intelligence, and soft skills. But there are limitations also to EQ. People can be successful in their life, but they feel empty. And they are not able to go beyond what is seen and felt. And when there is betrayal or loss, they are not able to cope with it. And most importantly, they are not able to answer deep questions about the meaning of life. Who am I? What is my destiny? What do others mean to me, etc. So far, psychologists spoke about the left brain and right brain, the IQ and the EQ. Now research make them come across another part of the brain called the midbrain or the God spot. In fact, this God spot or midbrain is more important than the other two. One who did much research in this area was Viktor Frankl, who was himself a prisoner in the German concentration camp. He was able to survive the terrible sufferings, tortures of the German concentration camps, and he started the theory of logotherapy, man's search for meaning. And he is the one who developed this theory and principles of transcendence, having a meaning in life. And he said, very important thing, if you have a wife for a living, you can put up with any how. So around the year 2000, he came across this new theory, a new idea, revolutionary idea of self-transcendence. Two important names at this time are Dana Sohar and Ian Marshall. Self-transcendence tells you about the human need and ability to find meaning in life. It helps you to solve problems regarding meaning and values and gives direction to your life. So it helps you to motivate yourself to see beyond material values and seeing ourselves part of a larger and higher reality. And especially in business, to look beyond profits to social welfare. So you got IQ, EQ, and SQ. And they have got 3 dimensions. IQ is primarily able to solve logical problems. The EQ can understand and deal with a situation. But SQ, or spiritual quotient, asks if you want to remain in that situation or change it. The orientation of IQ is profit and self-gratification. Of EQ, self-actualization, full blooming of the self. Whereas SQ is self-transcendence. One who developed this idea most is Abraham Maslow. We have his theory of the hierarchy of human needs. Right at the bottom, there are the material needs of food, clothing, etc. And the last one right on top is self-actualization. But Maslow himself added one more later in his life, beyond self-actualization, that is self-transcendence. And if you want to really have a meaningful life, then you need to have not IQ or EQ only, but spiritual quotient or self-transcendence. This applies even in business. Let us take the case of some businesses. You got the Colgate company, very old company, 200-year-old company. They have understood this concept very well, and they are still existing and flourishing. 90% of their profit is set aside for alleviating poverty. This is right from the beginning up to now. If you take another Tata, Indian company, Tata, it also is doing well. It is focused on employees' welfare. So it gets the goodwill of the employees. You can take the history of some of the other big businesses of today. Take the big IT company Yahoo. The very famous and prosperous some decades ago. Then it gave way to Google because Yahoo became self-complacent. It did not have the transcendence needed for endurance. If you take the car companies, Ford Motors, the beginning it revolutionized car manufacturing by inventing the assembly line. But they also got complacent. Ford was very smug with his Model T car. And when some employees presented him a better car, he refused to accept it. And Ford company, the business became less. You can take Bill Gates, big billionaire who started the Bill and Melinda Foundation, doing a lot of charity development for handicapped and children facing many AIDS and other problems in the developing countries. But some time back, the couple fell apart. They had a divorce. And there are strong rumors, well-founded rumors, that Bill Gates was manufacturing vaccination for COVID much earlier than the outbreak of COVID. So he gave up his idea of self-transcendence and got back to making money, and that has caused the problem in his foundation. So we find even in business, the self-transcendence is important. No man is an island. Your self-fulfillment is not enough. You must look beyond yourself to the welfare of society, and then you have a meaningful and well-lived life. Otherwise, we are just very well adjusted, business and socially adjusted, but not really spiritually adjusted. Hope you like this video. If you do, please subscribe. Bye. Till another time.